Next up is a little look at when we have a combination of 16th notes and 8th notes within the same beat. Before we looked at 16th notes when we fill up a whole beat with 4 of them. Now we'll look at when we have an 8th note, like for example here, followed by 2 16th notes, which means that they all fit within the same beat. We also have the opposite order, that you start out with 2 16th notes and followed by an 8th note, which also would fit within one beat. And we'll take a look at how they are different, because they may look similar but they sound very different. By looking at that, we'll start by looking at what we did on the 16th notes when we cover a whole beat with just 16th notes. That's what we have here, and we wrote it like this. We had the number of the beat on the first note, and then we had E and Na to get all the 16th notes and give them a sound so that we can actually count what the rhythm sounds like. We'll do the same thing here, but when we look at it, it's including 1 8th note and 2 16th notes. So compared to this, it means that in some places we have to put 2 16th notes together so they create an 8th note. And we'll simply take away the sound that we put on top of that 16th note that's not longer there. So if we start with this one, we'll just put out the beat numbers, and the first number is obviously number 1 because it's starting on the first beat. So this one is starting on the first beat, and this is an 8th note, and we can see that because this has only 1 beam at the top, while the following 2 has 2 beams at the top. So we can identify this as the 8th note and these 2 as the 16th notes. If we look then and compared to when we had the 4 16th notes, that means that we have these 2 put together as an 8th note. So we would have the number, which we have here, but this one is kind of merged and put together with this note. So the next thing we'll put out is the and that's on this one. So we'll write that here. And the last note would be this one right here, which is the same as this note. So that's where we put the na. So we get the number, in this case 1 and na. And this is an easy way to remember what this rhythm sounds like. When you have the 8th note followed by 2 16th notes, you can just call it the ana rhythm. It sounds like you're saying ana after each number. So if we would have this combination of notes running across the whole bar on every beat, you would say 1 ana, 2 ana, 3 ana, 4 ana. So it would be like adding the name ana after each number. Pretty easy to remember then. And we'll sort out the rest of the bar and then listen to what it sounds like. After that, obviously you would have second beat, and it's a quarter note, so it covers the whole of the second beat, which means that the next thing we have, which is this note, starts on beat number 3, and it's the same thing that's going on here we have here. So you would have the and the na on the last one, so it would be 3 ana. And then the last one would start on the 4th beat, and that's a quarter note, so it covers that whole beat. So if we would read the rhythm, it would be 1 ana, 2 3 ana, 4. So it would sound like 1 ana, 2 3 ana, 4. We will listen to what it sounds like when a drum is playing it as well, together with a click, so that you can hear in relation to the beat. So it starts with a counting of 4 beats, and then you will hear the drum play this rhythm. So hopefully you could hear the ana rhythm in there as the drum was playing this rhythm. Let's go down and have a look at this one, where we kind of flip this combination around and start out with the 2 16th notes and follow that with the longer 8th note. We'll put out the beat numbers and and see if we can figure out what it sounds like. First note of the bar, always on beat number 1. And in this case, we can identify that as a 16th note because we have the 2 beams at the top, while the 8th note is this one because it's only 1 beam at the top for that one. So that means that these two together cover the first half of the beat, and this would start on the and after that. And if we compare to what we did up here on the 16th note, where we had all 16th notes across the beat, that means that we would have this one. This note is still there. So we would put out an E on top of that. So it will read 1 E and, 1 E and. So it's like 3 fast notes in a row. Even if it looks like this, there's a gap in between here, it's not. It reads straight on with the 3 fast notes. And then on the next one you'd have beat number 2, and it's a quarter note, covers the whole beat. So this would start on beat 3, and this is exactly the same combination. So we would add an E and and, which we just write as an A. And then we're on to the 4th beat, and the 4th beat is covered by this quarter note. So it would read 1 E and 2, 3 and 4. So it goes 1 E and 2, 3 and 4. Let's have a look at what it sounds like with the drum playing it, and we'll do it's the same as when we listen to the previous rhythm. So there's a 4-beat count in, and then you'll hear the rhythm. Here it is. So there you heard the difference between these two. The Anna rhythm, don't forget that. And then this one where you have 3 quick notes right after each other, and then it's a bit longer until the next beat.